From Lieutenant General Ret. Michael T. Flynn. January 10, 2020 by Anna von Reitz. This came across my desk early this morning as part of an email with the subject line, Global Prayer Warrior Mobilization ALERT, and it contained a brief note from General Flynn. I have never seen a more succinct or accurate description of the situation and the nature of the conflict that he, and we, find ourselves in. From General Flynn addressed to Scott, apparently a member of the organization supporting General Flynn. Thank you for the note. Receiving it, especially today, means more than you can imagine. I am very thankful for having you and the many other prayer warriors in my family's life. It is vital that we keep God in front of everything we do. I could never imagine myself ever being in the situation that I find myself, but it is a clear sign that evil does exist in our lives. We are fighting a spiritual war that will only be won by prayers and the wisdom of the Lord has given us through His kindness and generosity of spirit and compassion. We must resolve that it is He who places us on the path of life, and it is through Him that we will succeed in winning this war. We must. God bless America and God bless our legions of digital soldiers. This brilliant summation deserves our attention, and this good man deserves our utmost support in the face of the continuing onslaught of lies and injustice pouring out of the Department of Justice. This is a spiritual and mental war, a conflict between what we have been indoctrinated to believe and what is true, between illusion and fact, between assumption and logic. In this fight, our minds and hearts are the battleground. We must all do our best to engage our logic circuits and discernment. The Department of Justice was created in 1870 during the endlessly corrupt administration of Ulysses S. Grant as one of the first federal executive departments. Please note that the Department of Justice is not an actual government department, it's an executive department, meaning that it was created within the structure of the interloping Scottish corporation merely doing business as the United States of America, Inc. at that time, for the use of the executive branch of their corporation as a legal department. Under King Rat FDR, the proliferation of such executive departments and government agencies, basically more unauthorized subcontractors doing the work of our subcontractors, skyrocketed. Last time I looked, the Democrats padded the federal government with at least 350 such departments and agencies. This arrangement allows the perpetrators to do none of their own work, pass the work and accountability off to their subcontractors, and then pass the expense of all this on to us, so long as we don't object. Do I hear any objection? Now that you have been told the facts? The existence of the DOJ isn't authorized anywhere in our agreements with either of the territorial or municipal government entities, so it is entirely an in-house organization set up by the interloping European corporate managers as a convenience for them. We, the actual government, by contrast, have a judicial branch that provides our services, and the only members of the U.S. government that also belong to our judicial branch are the justices of the United States Supreme Court. The actual job of the United States Supreme Court is to interpret the meaning of, and enforce the limitations imposed by, our constitutional agreements with the federal subcontractors. That is, the justices are supposed to tell the Congress and the President what they can get away with and what they cannot get away with respect to our contracts with them. Anything else that the United States Supreme Court does is extracurricular activity. So, the DOJ and the federal courts and the state courts are all, and specifically, not part of our lawful court system. These courts and the DOJ are instead part of the internal workings of the federal subcontractors, and the nuts and bolts administration of their in-house activities as corporations. These various courts are all in-house corporate tribunals, and the DOJ is the legal department of the corporation. The DOJ was set up to assist the President in his job. Please note again that it is an executive department, as an executive branch of the federal government, but things have changed since the DOJ was set up in 1870. Since then, the territorial government's military functions have been split off from the municipal government's civil functions via a process of internal compartmentalization within the corporations, while the two European federal subcontractors have increasingly merged their operations in unintended collusion under their unauthorized Declaration of Interdependence of the Governments in the United States, 1937. The end result has been that the DOJ has become the creature of the United States municipal government, aka the civil, but not civilian, government, and since the early 1990s, the whipping boy of the Municipal Congress. So, how did the Municipal Congress manage to get control of the DOJ and wrest it away from the executive branch, when it is, purportedly, an executive department? They changed the judicial oath. They deleted the little phrase, agreeable to the Constitution, and left the judicial officers, the bar attorneys, federal judges, etc., and the members of the DOJ free to do their duties under the Constitution, but that's just a joke. None of these judicial officers have any duties assigned to them under the constitutions. Only the justices of the United States Supreme Court have any duties of that nature assigned to them. In effect, we are paying for the legal services department of a foreign Roman-controlled municipal government corporation that is engaged in an endless stream of frauds and criminal activities aimed against our actual government, our states, and our people. The Legal Services Department, DBA, Department of Justice, is being utterly controlled and misdirected by the Municipal Congress, against the president of the same corporation, because the president is attempting to abide by the constitutions that the Municipal Congress, operating as the board of directors of the municipal corporation, is trying to evade. And that is also why the Municipal Congress is trying to impeach Donald Trump. He's doing a great job for us, but as president of their municipal corporation, he sucks. They are losing money and getting disciplined in ways they don't like, so the board of directors, aka, the Municipal Congress, is trying to get rid of him and using their in-house DOJ to do it. Like all executive departments, the paperwork still places the DOJ under the president's control, even if the members of the DOJ think that they are not obligated and liable to support the constitutions anymore. So, Donald Trump could dismiss all of them. He could fire the entire DOJ and set up a new in-house legal department. He could just get up one morning and say, you know what? You guys just aren't getting what your job is supposed to be about. You're confused. You think that your job is to protect the municipal corporation and maximize its profits. You think that the Congress is your boss, even though you are an executive department. I got news for you. You're fired. I am hiring a whole new staff that will do their actual job, which is to protect this country and the people in it. The people of this country have suffered on your watch, because you and the members of the Municipal Congress didn't pay attention to who your actual employers are. Give them all pink slips, rename the Department of Justice the Department of Legal Services, and hire new blood. None of this drama has a thing to do with us. It's all internal squabbling among our subcontractors. We can certainly object to the unintended collusion of the two European subcontractors that was established by their Declaration of Interdependence, and that may have some benefit, but generally speaking, the subcontractors can organize their internal affairs as they see fit. And as a point of fact, both these European subcontractors, the British Territorial United States and the Roman municipal government, are both owned and operated ultimately by the Pope. We should be taking our complaints about all this and about the misadministration in general, directly to him, because he controls the Commonwealth through the Queen, and the municipal government through the City of Rome and the Roman Curia. The actual federal employees and other dual citizens can wake up and clean the clocks of the Municipal Congress members at the ballot box, with the realization that even if we remove every present member of the Municipal Congress, the municipal government will still function in a corrupt way because the structure of the corporation itself is corrupt. Our agreements with the Pope and the Curia limit their activities to the 1 mile square apportioned to them in the District of Columbia. They do not allow for the proliferation of 185,000 municipal corporations on our shores, nor do they allow for the mischaracterization of our state citizens and populace in general as citizens of the United States. Their little oligarchy perched on our shores has run wild and is totally their responsibility and should not be our concern, though of course, this ongoing circumstance causes us trouble, too. We are constantly having to slap the hands of the pickpockets and argue with their bureaucrats and debunk their lies and false assumptions regarding us, our political status, our government, and just about everything that they do for us has to be countermanded and objected to. The Pope and his minions are quite literally the employees from hell, yet at the end of the day, with respect to us, that is what they are, employees. Remember that, and we will be well on our way toward getting this battlefield of the mind secured and cleared. Better still, get your rumps in gear and go to www.theamericanstatesassembly.net. and take action in the material world to reclaim your identity as an American and not a citizen of their version of United States at all.